Let's be honest. Staying consistent is one of the hardest things to do. We start with good intentions, full of motivation, and then life happens. We get tired, we get bored, and before we know it, we're back to square one. Why is consistency so difficult? And more importantly, how do you force yourself to stay consistent even when you don't feel like it? By the end of this video, you'll have a clear action plan to break the cycle of inconsistency and finally stick to your goals. Before we get into the solutions, let's break down why staying consistent is so challenging. We rely solely on motivation. Motivation is the spark that ignites action, but the truth is it's unreliable on its own, as most of us haven't unlocked the key to lasting motivation. Some days we wake up excited and ready to tackle the world, while other days we feel drained, uninspired, and inclined to procrastinate. If we wait for motivation to strike before taking action, we risk never being consistent. Success isn't built on feeling motivated. It's about building the discipline to keep going, even on the days when motivation is absent. True consistency comes from showing up regardless of how you feel and pushing through the dips in energy and enthusiasm. We expect instant results. In a world where we get what we want instantly, from fast food to on-demand streaming, it's easy to fall into the trap of expecting quick results in every area of life. But real success isn't immediate. It's the result of consistent small efforts over time. When we don't see rapid progress, it's easy to get discouraged and wonder if our efforts are even worth it. The truth is, the people who succeed are those who stick to their systems and routines, even when they don't see instant outcomes. Consistency is about committing to long-term transformation, even when the results aren't immediately visible. Our habits are working against us. Whether we realize it or not, our habits play a huge role in determining our success. If your daily habits don't align with your goals, consistency will feel like a constant struggle. Small habits like staying up too late, skipping workouts, or avoiding important tasks can slowly pull you off course. To be truly consistent, it's crucial to replace these negative habits with ones that support your goals. This doesn't mean overnight change, but rather making small adjustments over time that align with the vision of the life you want to create. When your daily actions become aligned with your goals, consistency becomes much easier. We let perfectionism hold us back. Perfectionism is a major roadblock to consistency. Many people believe that being consistent means never missing a day or never making mistakes, but this expectation is unrealistic. Perfectionism often leads to frustration, burnout, and the feeling that one slip-up means failure. The key to real consistency isn't perfection, it's resilience. It's about learning to get back on track after a setback, rather than allowing a single misstep to derail your progress. True consistency is about showing up day after day, even when things don't go perfectly. It's the ability to pick yourself up and continue knowing that progress is made through persistence, not perfection. Now that we know the obstacles, let's get into the solutions. Here's how you can make consistency effortless. Combine motivation with discipline. Motivation fades, but discipline keeps you moving forward. Until you've mastered the ability to stay consistently motivated, try combining bursts of motivation with discipline for better results. On the days when you feel inspired, make the most of it by pushing yourself a little further than usual. If you typically write 1 page a day, aim for 2 or 3. Then on days when your motivation wanes, rely more on your discipline. Set non-negotiable rules for yourself. These are micro goals that you must stick to regardless of how you feel. For example, if you're working on fitness, commit to at least 15 minutes of exercise daily. When motivation fades, your discipline will push you through the 15 minutes. When motivation peaks, you might complete a full hour. Just like brushing your teeth, consistency should become a habit, not a choice. Think of successful athletes, business leaders, and creatives. They don't wait for motivation to strike. They show up and put in the work every day, no matter what. Build systems, not just goals. Goals are essential because they give you a clear vision of what you want to achieve, but they alone are not enough to create lasting progress. While goals provide direction, they don't dictate the daily actions required to reach them. This is where systems come in. A system is a structured approach that ensures you make consistent progress regardless of motivation or external circumstances. Without a system in place, goals can feel like distant aspirations rather than achievable milestones, leading to inconsistency and frustration. One of the biggest challenges people face when pursuing goals is the lack of a clear, repeatable process. When you set a goal without a system, every step requires conscious effort and decision-making, which can quickly lead to burnout or loss of motivation. On the other hand, when you build a system around your goal, the process becomes automatic, reducing the mental load and increasing the likelihood of long-term success. Instead of relying on willpower or fleeting bursts of motivation, a system turns progress into a habit, making consistency effortless. The key to building an effective system is to focus on the process rather than the outcome. Goals often feel overwhelming because they emphasize the end result without addressing how to get there. A well-designed system ensures that you're making progress every day, no matter how small, by establishing routines, eliminating unnecessary decision-making, and creating an environment that supports your success. Rather than waiting for motivation to strike, a system keeps you on track by making success inevitable. When you shift your mindset from merely setting goals to developing systems, you create a sustainable path to achievement, allowing you to stay consistent and continuously improve over time. Make it so easy you can't fail. One of the most common mistakes people make when trying to build new habits is taking on too much at once. They set overly ambitious goals, expecting rapid progress, only to feel overwhelmed and burn out before they can establish real consistency. Instead of aiming for drastic changes right away, the key is to start so small that failure is nearly impossible. If you want to develop a habit, begin with an action that requires minimal effort and feels almost too easy. This might mean meditating for just 2 minutes a day or saving as little as $5 per week. While these small steps may seem insignificant, they serve a crucial purpose. They create momentum. The hardest part of any habit is simply getting started, and by making the barrier to entry as low as possible, you remove the friction that often leads to procrastination or giving up. Once you establish consistency, increasing your efforts happens naturally. What starts as a minor habit gradually expands, becoming an ingrained part of your routine. Over time, these small daily actions build upon each other, compounding into meaningful and lasting results. The true power of consistency lies not in massive short-lived efforts, but in steady, sustainable progress. Use the never miss twice rule. Consistency isn't about flawless execution. It's about showing up more often than not. Life is unpredictable, and no matter how committed you are, there will be times when you miss a workout or skip a study session, or indulge in something that doesn't align with your goals. What separates consistent people from those who give up is how they respond to those setbacks. Instead of viewing one missed day as a failure, reframe it as a natural part of the process. A powerful way to maintain consistency without falling into the perfectionism trap is by following the never miss twice rule. If you miss one session or make one poor choice, make it a priority to get back on track the very next time. This approach helps prevent a small slip-up from turning into a downward spiral of inaction. Missing one day won't derail your progress, but allowing that one day to stretch into 2, 3, or more can quickly undo all the hard work you've put in. Consistency is built not by being perfect, but by showing resilience. When you expect occasional setbacks as part of the journey, you're less likely to feel defeated by them. The key is to make each day a fresh opportunity to recommit to your goals, regardless of what happened the day before. By adopting the mindset that one mistake doesn't define your progress, you're far more likely to stay consistent in the long run. Remove decision fatigue. The more decisions you have to make throughout the day, the harder it becomes to stay consistent with your habits and commitments. Decision fatigue is a real challenge. When your mind is overloaded with choices, it's easier to procrastinate, delay important tasks, or default to the easiest option, which is often the one that requires the least effort. To maintain consistency, you need to reduce the number of daily decisions by planning ahead and creating a structured environment that supports your goals. Instead of waking up and debating whether or not to work out, eliminate that decision by laying out your workout clothes the night before, making it effortless to get started. Rather than trying to figure out what to eat in the moment when you're more likely to choose convenience over nutrition, meal prep in advance so that healthy choices are always ready and accessible. Scheduling important tasks in your calendar and treating them as fixed commitments removes the temptation to push them off or replace them with less meaningful activities. When you proactively remove obstacles and streamline your decision-making process, you create a system that makes consistency feel natural rather than forced. By reducing friction in your daily routine, you conserve mental energy and make it easier to follow through on the actions that align with your long-term goals. Staying consistent is much easier when you have external accountability. Find an accountability partner, join a group, or publicly commit to your goals. When you know someone else is aware of your commitments, you're more likely to follow through. Whether it's a friend who checks in on your progress, a mentor who offers guidance, or a community that shares similar goals, having others involved keeps you engaged and motivated. Accountability provides both support and pressure, the positive kind that pushes you to stay on track even when your motivation wavers. In addition to accountability tracking, your progress is essential for staying consistent. Without a clear record of your efforts, it's easy to lose sight of how much you've accomplished. Use a journal, an app, or a simple checklist to document your progress regularly. This not only helps you stay organized, but also gives you tangible proof that your actions are making a difference. When progress feels slow or invisible, looking back at past achievements can serve as a powerful reminder that every small step adds up. The strongest driver of consistency isn't external rewards or pressure. It's the internal reasons that truly matter to you. Motivation that comes from within is far more powerful and sustainable than motivation tied to outside factors like recognition, competition, or short-term rewards. To build lasting consistency, you need to identify the deeper purpose behind your actions. Ask yourself, why do you want to be consistent? What is the bigger picture? Is it to improve your health so you can live a longer, more active life? Is it to provide stability for your family? Is it to grow in your faith, strengthen your discipline, or prove to yourself that you're capable of achieving more? When your actions are connected to a purpose that genuinely resonates with you, staying consistent becomes less about willpower and more about commitment to something meaningful. Challenges and setbacks are inevitable, but when your motivation is deeply rooted in something personal and important, giving up feels like abandoning a core part of yourself. Instead of viewing consistency as a chore, you start to see it as an essential part of your identity. This shift in perspective makes it easier to push through obstacles, stay on track even when progress is slow, and remain committed over the long term. By anchoring your consistency to a purpose that truly matters to you, you create a mindset where quitting is not an option. It transforms your daily habits from tasks you have to do into actions you want to do because they align with the person you aspire to become. At the end of the day, consistency is about trust, trusting the process, trusting yourself, and most importantly, trusting God. Proverbs 16 verse 3 says, "Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and He will establish your plans." When you dedicate your efforts to God, He gives you the strength to push through challenges. So don't rely on willpower alone. Seek His guidance, stay disciplined, and keep showing up. If you do this, success is inevitable. If this video helped you, make sure to like, subscribe, and drop a comment below on what habit you're working to stay consistent with. Let's keep each other accountable and keep growing together.